Hello everyone and welcome to the segment on CIG Television. Today we're going to be speaking to two seafaring men from the Grand Cayman community, Mr. Andrew Eden and Mr. Denniston Tibbetts. It's a pleasure to have you both here with us today to talk about the upcoming National Heroes Day in 2021, which is going to focus on the all-important role that seafarers played in our history and continue to play today. Mr. Tibbetts, if we could begin with you, what do you think about the fact that seafarers are going to be the highlight of Heroes Day in 2021?
Well, my thoughts go back a long way. I won't bother to mention them because it might be kind of derogatory, but I'm very happy that we're finally here. We've been fighting for this for a long time because we realize the importance that seafaring played and continues to play in the Cayman Islands. So they were supposed to do it 2 years ago, then something came up to celebrate Cayman with the Constitution or something. Anyway, we're finally here and we're working extremely hard to make it the day that it's supposed to be. Last night we created history because they were there with us at the Seafarers Hall and we were able to do a virtual thing with the Zoom with Cayman Brac seafarers. Never done that before, so we're gradually getting there. And the nominations, we need them to come in. We have all the forms at the Seafarers Hall. The office manager there can assist you, or you can go online, Celebrate Cayman and whatever the other one is, I don't remember.
That's okay. So the 31st of October is the deadline to get nominations in, Mr. Eden, but let's talk a little bit about your thoughts on the fact that you important men and women in our community are going to be recognized in 2021.
Yes, certainly it's great, you know, and it's long overdue, but hey, we're happy that it's here, and we're going to do our best to try to promote it, and it'll be a great year promoting seafaring in the Cayman Islands. And you know, we have been for a long time working to make this community what it is today. Okay, seafaring is not what it used to be. As far as Cayman is concerned, there's very few at sea anymore. But over the many years, lots of Caymanians had contributed to the prosperity of these islands due to our seafaring days.
Yeah. Next to the Norwegians, we still, I think, remain the greatest seafaring.
We're not next to anybody, we're unique. We're the best in the world.
Yes, but for such a small country in the world, for us to be up there with the big countries of the world is quite phenomenal. One of the categories in next year's the Seafaring and Heroes Day celebration really focuses on the women who played roles in the seafaring history. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Eden?
Well, that is great, and the thing is, you know, actually I always said when I was going to sea, hey, the women ran the country here, no doubt about that. You might have had the men in the legislature, but everything else was done by all the women. And you know, it was unique as officers that we were allowed to have our wives on board ship with us also. My wife used to spend 9-10 months of the year with me at sea, and it was very exciting for her, although at times she got homesick, I think. But hey, we were enjoying the many parts of the world that we could see, you know, and hey, we didn't have to pay for it. You know, she went all over the world with me, and from the Middle East, Far East, all over the U.S., South and Central America, and it was very exciting.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Tibbetts? What do you think about the role that women played? And
Well, I have a little experience with that. Well, a big experience because my mom, my dad, as a lot of people know, he was captain on one of the national bulk ships, and my mom used to go with him almost every year for 6 months. So me and my siblings, we kind of grew up with aunts and uncles, and they took care of us while she was away, but she spent a lot of time on the ship with Dad. But of course, when she was home, she was mother and father. And as soon as Dad came home for vacation, she gave him the reins, and all he had to do was lift his finger. Whereas she would take the belt to you, but he never had to do that. All he did was raise his finger. You know? But it was part of growing up, and we learned to cope with it. And now that we're preparing for next year's Seafaring Year, and I need to mention that it's not only National Heroes Day, it's the entire year. So we're going to have, because it would take 3 or 4 days to actually get all the seafarers in the National Heroes Day, but we're going to have district, the town halls, we're going to have, Celebrate Cayman will be taking care of that. So it's the entire year.
Right.
But the big one is the 25th of January next year, National Heroes Day. So,
Yeah.
But getting back to the ladies, they played a phenomenal role. I remember the first time I went to sea, I had to go to New York, and a lot of people probably remember Mrs. Solomon. She was from the BRAC, but she was the lady. She had a boarding house, and she took care of all the seamen, you know. Especially the young people, young seamen like myself, you know. She'd tell you where to go and what to do, and you don't do this because your mother not gonna like that, and that sort of thing. She was like our mother, you know.
Right.
But it was a good experience, and it made men of us. So
Yeah.
It's very important because we want to recognize every Caymanian that went to sea. And you know, a lot of them is no longer with us, and we want family members, you know, to fill out the nomination form. It's a very short time, but we can do it if everyone, you know, get the initiative to fill out the forms and get them back in as soon as possible. Because if we don't, you know, they can't be recognized, and we want to recognize everyone.
Yeah.
So it's so important we fill out the forms and get them in. If you don't have all the information, hey, they're going to be, you know, they will permit that people have passed on. We don't know everything that we should know about that person that went to sea. So put the name in there, put in what information you do know, so that we can recognize everyone that's possible.
Yeah. Mr. Deniston, if you had to encourage people who are watching to get those nomination forms in and to take the time, what would you say to someone out there to encourage them?
well, I would say that, like Andrew said, it's very important, and the categories, seafarers, I mean, we go back to the Turtling days, so it's not only the seafarers who went with national bulk or on the cargo ships and all that.
Yeah.
It's from the turtlers and the people who built ships in Cayman and Cayman BRAC. I mean, Captain Keith Tibbets was one of those stalwarts who built ships. Mr. Arthur Dilbert, who was my mom's uncle. I mean, they stood out. So all of those people need to be recognized, and I would ask everybody, and the categories are, if I could read them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Early pioneer is an individual alive or deceased who made an exceptional contribution prior to the 1940s in the areas of shipbuilding, boat building, ship administration, turtling, or seafaring. Pioneer, an individual alive or deceased who made an exceptional contribution from the 1940s to the 1980s in the areas of shipbuilding, boat building, shipping administration, turtling, or seafaring. And for those, there's another category for people who excelled at sea. That's an individual alive or deceased who, during their seafaring career, advanced to the rank of the highest. And I must mention now, Andrew is one of those. He and most people know Bossy from Cayman BRAC, Ethan Dilbert. They were the two youngest chief engineers. You know, they were a couple of months apart, but they kind of shared that glory.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic thing, because here we are, that these guys went to sea, even though they had like a 6th grade or a 6th standard education, they excelled and taught themselves. And you know, even my dad, he left school at 12 because he was the eldest boy of I think it was 9 siblings or 7 of them, and he had to help my grandfather do for the other ones, you know.
Yeah.
But he went to sea, excelled, and he became a master mariner. So the sky was the limit for these guys, really.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I feel proud to know that I was part of it. Even though my career was cut short because of an accident on the ship, but that was destiny.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I was still happy for the 5 years that I did spend. But the woman in Seafarers, a woman alive or deceased who bravely went to sea or made exceptional contribution to our island seafaring heritage. Memorial scroll, that's for a deceased person who made the ultimate sacrifice and lost their life as a result of going to sea and serving as a seafarer. And then we have friends of seafarers. Like I remember my mom always talking about Miss Manley Bernard. They had like a little boarding house for the guys who were passing through, going with Southwell, as they used to say in those days. So people like that, you know. It's described as an individual, alive or deceased, or a company that was instrumental in facilitating and supporting Caymanian seafarers or providing assistance to Caymanians while they were at sea. So the categories are there, and we have to bear in mind that it's a year-long celebration. So it's not possible to have everybody who is nominated on that National Heroes Day, but we will have district meetings and celebrations through Celebrate Cayman.
Right.
And the people who are not mentioned during January, National Heroes Day, will be mentioned then. So we don't want anybody to be left behind. So please fill the forms out. It's short notice, but we have to do it. And even if you bring them afterwards, I'm sure that the committee will have them for the district celebrations, even if they don't get on the one for National Heroes Day.
Okay.
But we're happy about it.
Awesome. So the online forms can actually be found online at celebratecayman.ky and the Ministry of Health.gov.ky. Again, deadline for submissions is October 31st. The form is quite short. I think most times people are afraid that these nomination forms are going to be quite, like a number of pages, and in fact it's just one page. So it's very simple process for people to fill out the form, and like Mr. Eden mentioned, just getting the information that you know now, and then at least you know that the form is in on that deadline. Go ahead,
And
Mr.
the forms are available at the Seafarers office,
Okay, yes.
And anyone feel they need assistance filling the forms out, come out and our office manager will be happy to help them fill out the forms. It's a very easy process. You need the name and the little bit of the history of the person who went to sea, and she can help you put it all together.
Okay. Mr. Andrew, Mr. Denniston, it's a pleasure to have both of you here with us on CIG TV. Any final words before we go?
Well, I'm happy that we're here, and thank you also very much for the privilege. And I'd just like to say that please fill out these forms because they're very important.
Okay.
Thanks again.
No worries.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here with you. And hey, fill out those forms. We want to recognize every Caymanian seafarer.
All right. Thank you both. All right. And we hope that you've learned a lot about what you need to do to get these forms completed by October 31st. I'm Donna Bush, as always, thanking you for joining us here for this segment.